The messengers. It is Tuesday, July 14th, here in 2026. It is the day of Hekate. It is the day of the dark moon, and it is the hour of Helios.
It sounds so dramatic.
I know. I love it so much. And as always, we will start to our by with the prayer to Mercury, our patron planet and deity. And we say to Mercury, we say, Peace be upon you, O Mercury, the swift messenger, the quick, the bright minded, the eloquent, the key of tongues and the keeper of letters, the thought in motion, the clever, the gracious, the curious, full of wit, the teacher, the merchant of meaning, the patron of scribes, the friend of travelers, the carrier of the word between worlds, the agile, the dexterous, the speaker of many languages, the weaver of bridges, the great. You are the connection between mind and mind. You are the messenger of the heavens, the patron of those who seek understanding, the lamp of honesty, inquiry. I also ask you in the holy name of the Most High. I call you in your names in Arabic, Utherd, in Persian, Tyr, in Greek, Hermes, in Roman, Mercurius, and in Indian, Buddha. Let your clear light fall upon my mind and tongue. Reveal your sphere within and without, that our words may be true and kind, that our study may be fruitful, and that we might carry good tidings between every soul we meet. And so it is.
You want to hear my Mercury moment?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was at the fair and it was 3 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
and I was at the Ritz. Have you ever been to the fair before?
Oh, yeah.
You know what the Ritz is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was like 20 of us in the Ritz at 3 a.m. just frying, just so tired. If you don't know what the Ritz is, it's literally a giant wood burning sauna that stays open all night at the Oregon Country Fair. And there's nude showers, nude sauna, nude everything. And we're on a lot of medicine, partying, having a lot of fun. And out of nowhere walks in this 5 foot nothing. Yes. Look, out of nowhere walked in this 3 foot nothing little munchkin. Yes, honey, you can. Can you close the door? And we're back. Out of nowhere walked in this 5 foot nothing person. She was so tiny and she had like a 7 foot didgeridoo. and, and she just started ripping the didgeridoo for like 30 minutes, dude. She didn't breathe. We all clapped at the end. It was amazing. We were just roasting to the didgeridoo, and I'm thinking about Mercury, and just in my mind, I'm like, Mercury's in a water sign. He'd probably love this right now, you know. I thought of you. I was thinking about how much I miss you and how much I love you. And I walk out, and there's 5 naked people around a fire singing Freddie Mercury songs.
Yes.
And I just started cracking up. I was like, Devon would love this right now. You would love it so much.
Ezekiel wouldn't know, but Freddie Mercury is highly mercurial.
Okay, that would make sense.
He has several.
People always say I
with
remind them of Freddie
Mercury.
Mercury, but I think it might be the mustache.
And I love that Freddie Mercury has Mercury in his name, but his chart is very Mercury heavy.
Yeah, so that was my Mercury moment in the water. Hanging out with music late at night. There was a
being
band
boiled by the
playing,
sun. Mercury's currently being boiled by the sun in the water sign.
Yeah, I was steaming Mercury, and that was lovely. That was lovely. So we have a few things to talk about today. I with your dramatic title that you started off with. But you said Hekate sign, and this is something that I still don't really understand. So I go by Devon's Lunar Almanac and work from that in order to do some remediations for myself and to kind of start getting a grip for astrology. And some of the days are called Hekate days, which that's not a word. Like, what is Hekate?
Yeah, so Hekate is a goddess, and she is specifically venerated as a dark moon goddess.
That sounds bad.
And as you can imagine, anything that you put the word dark in front of, we just have a cultural connotation that like institutes anything involved with the night and darkness and things of that nature carries a weight of negativity when in truth, like, night happens. But yeah.
So dark moon is when the moon is the opposite from full.
Yes, it's the on the calendar, like it's still listed on the calendar, but on the calendar it's listed as a new moon. That's what most of us know it
Okay,
as.
but astrologers call it a dark moon.
Hellenistic astrologers or venerators of the moon, and especially if you look into older ancient texts, like it would be known as the dark moon.
Okay,
Yes.
but what about Vedic?
Yeah, Vedic. See, I think the word they use for it is anavasana,
Okay,
which is their version of a dark moon, and they actually venerate Kali during the dark moon.
who's scary as well. I know she's not technically, but she's always standing on a bunch of dead demons with a bunch of weapons, like a lot of weapons. She looks very aggressive.
Yeah, I mean you know the thing I love about Hekate and also Kali and a lot of the other dark moon energy is that it's a time of renewal. It's a
Yeah.
time of the dark moon itself is when we should be cleaning our altars. Or one of the things that I always suggest for the dark moon is that we clean our altars, clear out our spaces, make things fresh for the new energy to start coming in, because the dark moon symbolizes this moment, or is recognized as this moment of the end and the beginning simultaneously. It's like you can point it into the breath as that moment when you've exhaled every point of your breath, like all of the breath has been
Yes,
exhaled
it's
out,
the pause in between.
and the pause in between
Have
the
you ever
next
used that
inhale.
as an object for meditation?
Yeah, we're taught how to do that in the Tantra Loka.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, it's very
Yeah.
effective. Yogananda focuses on that as well too. A lot of different lineages do, but yeah, it's actually really hard for me to do. It's really hard for me to do. It's actually very hard for me to focus on my breath at all in meditation without like grabbing it, just controlling it the whole time. But focusing on the pause is very, very difficult for me to do. Have you had good success with that at all?
Yeah, I've been doing it for a while, and I
Is that your main object of meditation, the pause?
well, the main object of my meditation is a lot of different things.
Well,
I've
that's sure.
I've I've been trained to build the cycles of time into my breath work, and so
That one statement is so large. You gotta put that one.
well, it's Tantra Loka is a text that was written by Abhinavagupta in the 10th century CE, and is a compilation of as much of the tantric knowledge available at that time into one insanely large
How big?
compendium. Uh, 38,000 verses.
So how many pages?
Oh,
How many verses is the
it's
Bible?
like 17 books.
Oh,
It's yeah, it's
how many verses is the Bible?
I don't know how many verses are in the Bible,
It's a pretty big
but it's a
book.
different,
Does
it's a
it have the
different
thin? Is it
connotation,
17 books of that like really thin page? Like when you pick up the Bible, you realize the pages aren't even as thick as normal pages. They're like super
Yeah.
flimsy.
Oh, this is a lot, but
Yeah,
it's a lot. Yeah. I haven't done a
sure,
thought
but it's a,
experiment on the
it's
on the
very big.
equivalent, but it's very extensive, and it's very beautiful and very poetic, and is all about
Wh-
non-dualism. The
What's the
whole
bit? Yeah, I know. If I read one more book on non-dualism, I can't. I have to experience it at this point. There's some
well, you're
things,
still
but there's
reading a
nothing.
book, and that's dualism
I
in
know. It's
itself.
constant. It's constant. Well, it was actually funny. I was studying a little bit on philosophy yesterday, or just listening up on it, and it's just a step. So you go from materialism to dualism, and then you end up at idealism. It's just kind of the natural progression that can occur for many people, which idealism is the panpsychism, the one mind concept. And it's kind of the where a lot of people end in their road of philosophy, because as you continue to explore and continue to explore, it's currently the only way we can describe in a lot of ways what's occurring. Not that everybody agrees with it, but it is very common that dualism is just a step, and you have to get to the non-dualism to really move past it. But it's just the redundant. If you've never read the books, it's like fucking extremely redundant. I love it. I've read so many of them. I know them ad
Yeah.
nauseum. I know the koans. I know them inside and out. And it all comes down. My favorite one is this Tibetan monk said, "You're real. You're just not really real." And that's the issue. And that's from Joseph Goldstein, originally that teaching. And I think that that's my favorite way to just sum up the non-dualist books. You're real, you're just not really real. Try to figure out what that means in an experiential basis.
Yeah.
So the Tantra Loka, though, what is the basis? Is it like a teaching being passed down, kind of like the Bhagavad Gita, or was it just a teacher writing out a book?
Yeah, it's the Tantra Loka is like I was saying. It's more like it's a compilation of knowledge. It isn't one teaching. It's
Okay.
several teachings being finally composed together into a text
How did
together.
they decide on the compendium? So like the
I
Buddhist
don't know. I
teachings
wasn't
were
there.
well, I know, but did it all? Is the story that it came as one block, like one set of teachings, or was it kind of compiled from multiple teachers?
Well, Abhinavagupta was one person, and and the compendium is of multiple teachings, and he's uh, venerated as the great Abhinavagupta who had the wisdom and in order to order these in a specific way and put them all together.
Okay.
And so, and in basically the way that it starts is recognize that you are God and everything is God and everything is together.
Yes. Yes.
If you understand that, then don't read further.
I know, but it's so hard. So you have to read further and you read all the things, then you realize they're just saying that same statement in a million different ways. It's the
Yeah.
same lesson over and over and over and over again.
Well, yeah, but then in the Tantra Loka, it goes into like it goes into like breaking down all the nadis in the body, and it goes into like how to work all of time into the breath and
So how do they define time?
as the breath.
Okay.
Time
Because
is
time
breath.
is experiential at that point rather than
Hmm.
us using the model that we do currently.
Yeah, and so everything is likened to the breath. So the inhale is sunrise and the exhale is sunset. The inhale is night and the exhale is day. The inhale is spring and the exhale is summer. Like this is what you're doing when you're meditating is your every time you take a breath, you're gaining an understanding and a deepening enrichment of how time is experienced based on your breath. And so, one of the ways that this gets reverberated is like when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you do is you
Check your
analyze your
nostril.
breath. Yeah.
Check your nostril.
Yeah. You analyze your breath. Yeah.
Do you check your nostril?
Yeah. You check your nostril. Yes. Yeah.
Do you know what that does?
Well, yeah. Yes.
So, so you
Would you
check,
like to
yeah,
explain
yeah,
it?
it's a
Yes.
yogi trick. So you check your nostril when you wake up, and one nostril is going to be more closed than the other. It rotates on a healthy body every like 23 to 37 minutes. I don't remember what it is. Somebody can look it up. But it's pretty often that it's
It's actually
occurring.
90
Is it
minutes.
90 minutes?
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's a
Thank you.
lunar hour.
Wonderful. See, it links it. So it rotates every 90 minutes. And so you can check your nostril. And when the one is less clear than another one, you can step out of bed on the more clear nostril's foot. So if you're more clear on the right hand side, you step out on the right hand side foot. And that way you're always stepping out of bed on the right foot. I think that's actually where that term comes from.
Yeah,
I've decided.
getting out of the bed on the right
Right,
side.
right, yeah,
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 getting
yeah,
out on the
yeah,
wrong side of the
yeah.
bed. Yeah.
So it's a lunar hour.
Yeah, there's we're all so used to the solar hour
Yeah,
system, which is 24 hours in a day.
100%.
And my almanac has the solar hours
Yeah.
of the 12 hours of daylight, 12 hours of nighttime, but they fluctuate based
Hmm.
on how much actual light there is. But then the shadow hours are actually based on the lunar hours. And
Hmm.
so uh, you can take that same amount of time, that 1440 minutes in a day, and you divide that into 16 instead of 24. And so you end up with 8 hours of daylight and 8 hours of nighttime. And and the reason why it's a lunar cycle,
What are the other 8 hours?
no, no, that's all the that you, so you're dividing it. So instead of
No, I understand. My mind just immediately converted it to a 24-hour cycle, so I
exactly,
wanted it to happen.
exactly, but instead each hour,
Would
so
we
the
experience
archetypal,
8 and 8?
so the archetypal version of that, and whenever I use the term archetypal,
We would.
I'm talking about a base.
Okay.
Uh, so like we'll say it's like the equinox. The
Sure.
archetypal version
Equal.
is each hour would be 90 minutes. So those 8 hours that you're missing
Hmm.
because it's not 24 is included in those 30
No,
minutes
I
that are
understand now.
attached. Yeah.
I immediately converted it.
Yeah.
Okay,
And so
so
where are the other hours go? No, they're there.
they took our jobs. It's immediately. I did any cultures ever who ran on the lunar calendar and when did they stop?
Wait, on the lunar hour
Yeah.
system? So the lunar hours are still used today in a lot of Vedic spiritual practices and stuff like that. But the we all still kind of use the lunar clock, um, but it's for catching the
We're back. What was it that you were saying about the lunar hours?
yeah. So the lunar hours, we still kind of use them today in a way because they're based on the mean average of how the moon changes every day. And what I mean by that is basically the mean average, the moon rises 45 minutes later each day.
Mm-hmm.
And so 45 is the increment that creates 90, which creates the 8 sets of 90-minute hours.
Yeah, but that's not really us using it.
No, but so it's how it's one of the main structures that we still utilize tide charts.
Oh, yeah, the tides.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not on the ocean.
No.
I had a friend who got seriously damaged on the ocean.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. They got wrecked by a net and got amnesia.
Ooh, bummer.
It's horrific.
That sounds
Yeah,
terrible.
they're writing a book. When I come out, I'll bring it up because it's a crazy story. But yeah, I don't want to be on a boat anymore. I have a friend who's a tugboat captain as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you'll find that
It's like signing up for prison.
tide charts are so important to people who
100%.
live
Yeah, you're
on
gonna.
the ocean.
Yes, very, 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 very important. And most of the cultures were oceanic because there was so much to harvest on the ocean. It was so much of a better place to be than the inland. We live in the desert. Like nobody really lived here before we had good modern technology. Some people passed through, but there were native tribes that lived along the river. But you didn't have massive populations.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just wasn't possible.
Yeah, exactly. Although, yeah, I still would like to know more about how the Paiute moved through these passages.
I remember asking some people about it, and I heard seasonal.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
it was very seasonal. It's just very harsh here at certain times of the year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially pre-climate change weather adjustments. Like when I was growing up here, not to get too far away,
What do you mean? We can go as far as you want.
there was a thought that I had that I want to come back to. But when I was growing up here, the snow levels were crazy high.
Okay.
It's like huge, like 2 feet of snow minimum every year for the winter.
Okay.
Like just on regular.
That's not a lot of
basis.
snow at all.
But it's
Yeah,
a
I
lot
get
more
yeah, than it does now. Yeah, it's nothing.
I
We got nothing.
Yeah, we used to have a cafe downtown called Alpenglow, and it was based on this word that had to do with like the glow that you get from the mountains,
Mhm.
and especially in the summertime. But you
Mhm.
don't get that here anymore because all the snow's melted off.
Yeah,
the
it's like
mountains.
purple glow too. When
Yeah.
like the moonlight, when the moon would hit the mountains, they would be blue and purple. I remember with the snow.
But so the fishing cultures and stuff like that, especially Greece, to bring us back to the dark moon of Hekate, just for a second. One of the things that you do to venerate Hekate as a dark moon goddess is you have a meal. You have a meal in her honor,
100%.
and it involves fish. You use fish
Okay.
because the Greek were mostly fish.
Okay,
There's a
that
lot
makes
of fishing
sense.
going on in Greece. Is one of my reasonings for it. But
Yeah.
when I'm instructing or answering questions, I'm trying to stay away from saying telling people or like telling them how to venerate Hekate.
What do you do for work? I
when
tell
I'm-
people how to venerate Hekate.
when I'm helping people find their way into their own devotional practices with all kinds of deities, what I suggest with Hekate is whatever is seasonal and local, because in the end, to me, Hekate is very associated with the wilderness and what we call the wilderness, but the natural world. And to me, the best way that you can be in a relationship with a deity that is very about the natural world is to stay in season as possible. So instead of trying to offer the instructed plate of food over and over and over again, like always a fish, always a cheese, just like whatever.
Are there instructions?
There's places where people develop instructions and stuff like that. But I always like to suggest a preserved thing, a fresh thing, and like a baked thing, a bread thing of some kind, for the meal. And it's a meal that you have for yourself and with friends. If if you're with a group of people that also
We ate a meal.
Venerate Hekate together.
We should have venerated Hekate. We didn't venerate Hekate at our meal.
No, because you're not you don't venerate Hekate yet. Maybe you will soon.
Yeah.
Who knows?
You could have brought it up. Maybe we could have venerated Hekate.
Well,
at
I'm
the
not
meal.
here to like Christianize people into the religion of Hekate. I'm not colonizing you.
Is the Hekate cult? If we could get back to the cult topic from
Yeah,
that.
exactly. But yeah, last night I had my meal, and my friend Orphic Astrology, who goes by Orphic Astrology on social media, made a really great post that like does a better job of outlining the process of venerating Hekate on the Dipnon, which is tonight. And I did it last night during the perfection of the dark moon, which was around like 2:45 in the morning. And so I had my little meal, and then
You were working already.
huh?
You were working already.
What do you mean working already?
You were working last night, weren't you?
Well, yeah, I had gotten done with work.
Okay, but would you normally wake up at 2:45 and have a meal for Hekate?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, have we not talked about my lunar devotion?
No, well, we haven't talked about it on film.
True, that's true. But and then you set aside a portion and you leave it out at a crossroads or next to wilderness, the edge of human participation.
Heck yes.
For Hekate to
Heck
gather.
yes.
And it's in a retrospective or traditional way of looking back at it, the meal was usually picked up by the downtrodden or maybe even wild creatures. Either way, it's still seen as being consumed by the goddess herself.
All right.
Yeah. And
What,
so
what was your meal?
Oh, I had some preserved fish
Okay.
and a little bit of cheese and some tortilla chips and just
What
some
type of
little light
cheese?
fruit. Brie.
Brie?
Yeah,
Do you like brie?
I love brie.
What's your favorite cheese?
Oh, my favorite cheese is it's a soft, like a soft hard cheese. And so there's like really hard cheese like Parmesan, and then
Yeah.
there's like a softer version of that same sort of style.
Like what?
Um,
Like manchego?
yeah, like Manchego's like that.
Uh-huh.
And so it's a cheese like that. It's from Switzerland area, and it's only available during the spring, and it's crusted with wildflowers.
Really?
Yeah.
What's it called?
I can't remember. That's why I'm describing it.
Oh. Well, I want to try it. Do you
Well,
have some?
next year?
We
when
have
it
to go in the
becomes-
spring.
we have to
Do we
wait-
to go to Switzerland in the spring.
I found it carried locally in Portland. I don't know if we'll be able to find it locally here.
How
in Bend,
accurate is Portlandia in relation to Portland restaurants?
Depends on the restaurant. There are restaurants. I don't think there's actually any restaurants that have the names of the chickens that they serve.
No,
but,
I love that episode so much.
but it was a pretty good description of the care that was being taken
Yeah.
at the time.
We were talking earlier that Devon and I were speaking about our restaurant experience in Portland, and mine's much more limited than his. He worked there for years, and Le Pigeon was one of my favorite restaurants. But they didn't tell me the name of the duck or anything, but really, really incredible food.
No, Gabriel would not
No.
be listing the name of the duck.
Oh, no, it'd be wonderful, though.
No, Gabriel actually, when he first started up there, one of the things was there's also a really big like vegan community in Portland, especially back when he started up Le Pigeon. There was a very strong crusty punk vegan community up there.
Did you just say crusty punk vegan?
Yeah.
Is that like a known subgroup?
Yeah.
Is to who? What is that?
To other punks.
Is like
To
okay?
other-
Is it
to
so
other-
like this is like a
to the
punk?
leftist community?
This is a punk subgroup.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. You have you have the punk general term,
sure.
and then you have like skinhead punks, straight edge punks, crusty punks. There's a whole
No, I
like,
didn't
there's a
know
whole
any
like
of this.
umbrella.
There's a whole umbrella
There's
of
a
punk.
whole
Okay.
umbrella is a punk.
So
and
I
then
was
there's a
trying to
whole
explain to
trickle-down
Will
punkonomics.
scene versus punk. And I was trying to, I think it's like our generation's punk in a way was like a scene that kind of came in, but it was like a mix between punk and goth as you ended up with scene, I feel like. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts?
I mean,
Were you ever seen?
There's I mean, that's a whole
Did
whole
you have a
thing.
fun punk haircut?
When I was a kid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you
I did.
have?
Yeah, I had multiple different punk haircuts.
Like
I
what?
had a mohawk. I had
Was it
like
colored?
a really big mohawk colored. I
How-
had colored hair.
How,
I
you're
had
going too
shaved
fast. How
head.
tall was it?
I was never able to get it too tall because my hair was always pretty thin, so I didn't have enough body of hair to
I
like
bought it
really
at
make a big
19.
one. Yeah, so
Yeah,
you feel
early.
me.
Oh,
Yeah.
real early. Yeah, I tried
Yeah,
to hold
you would have
on.
fit in with the
Oh
skinhead
yeah,
crowd easily.
I am. That's what they all thought. I lived in Huntington Beach area for years, so I didn't live in
Oh.
Huntington Beach, but there is the huge population of Aryan Brotherhood and skinheads inside of Huntington Beach, California,
Yeah, that's why I
and
went,
yeah, I
"Oh."
know. And so, well, the other people might not know that.
Yeah.
And so I was working in Santa Ana and I would be at work and I would be wearing, I was younger, I'd be wearing a wife beater saying it's hot, it's like 100 degrees. And I would go to sit inside of Yellow Burger over on Grand Avenue. It was like my little spot to go get hamburgers. And I would sit in there and these gangsters, like actual gangsters, would walk in and just be eyeing me up because I was a tattooed little shaved head white kid in a wife beater in the corner. And I was so scared. I was like, no, please. Like, I'm just bald, dude. Like, I got one look. I got nothing to do. But yeah, it was really early that happened. So, okay. So there's skinhead punks. You were never seen, but you had a mohawk. What else did you have? Did you have Liberty spikes at any point?
I mean, I would go out with
Did you
Liberty
have a
spikes
Prince
on, yeah.
Albert?
Prince Albert. Actually, yeah, I had a pierced tongue. Yeah, if that's what you're
No, that's
talking
your
about.
penis is a Prince Albert.
Oh no, I didn't have.
You did have you had a pierced tongue though?
Yeah, I had
Oh, you
a
dirty boy.
labrae. That's what that is.
Is
Yeah,
that called Labray?
I think so.
Oh.
I can't remember. Yeah, I had a actually
What other piercings did you have?
my friend here in town, who I think she still lives here in Central Oregon, uh, pierced, gave me ear piercings and eyebrow piercing, and pierced my mom's ear and my brother's ear all together in the
Oh
bathroom
wow.
together.
Oh, in the
Yeah,
bathroom? How many of you were in one bathroom?
yeah, all four of us.
Why were you all in one bathroom?
And then,
You couldn't have taken turns?
well, no, my mom wanted to be a part of the whole thing.
Okay, that's fine.
It was a family thing. And but
My mom never
I
would do
had my
that.
tongue pierced by this guy named Nomad who did all the piercings in a movie called Fifth Element.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah,
The redheaded lady is very attractive to me.
it says a lot of people.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
I think
she was
that's the
good.
point of the role.
Yeah. Oh,
I
fond
think they did a
memories.
good job. But yeah, so if you watch that movie, any of the piercings and stuff like that was done by one guy named
Those weren't just
Nomad.
fake piercings?
Nope.
They did real piercings for the movie?
Yep.
How often do they do that?
I don't know. I'm not in Hollywood, man.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, so all right, so punk. No, I didn't know there was a thing called crusty vegan punks. So what's
Yeah,
a
so there
crusty
was
punk versus a normal punk? Is it more like wookish?
it's yeah, it's there's a well, it is the name is what it sounds like. They are generally street punks. They generally and this is
Got
it's
him in deep water.
well, it's deep water, but it's also like I it'd be like, you know, saying what true followers of Hekate, you know, did back in the blah 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 BCE. Like there's a lot of nuance
Yeah,
and there's a lot of living
sure.
nuance, current nuance.
It's just
with the
interesting. I didn't know
culture.
there was different dynamics.
And
of
a lot
punk.
of them, so a lot of them are freegans or vegans. Freegan is willing to do dumpster diving and stuff like that for food, like just eating whatever's in the dumpster. Other people will be vegan and dumpster dive, and
I
there's
have
just
never heard any of these terms before. Are
yeah.
these common terms in Portland?
Well, they were common terms for me when I was growing up.
Really?
Yeah,
I have never heard any of these terms
dumpster
before.
diving. You've never heard?
I've
of
heard
that term?
dumpster diving, but I've
Okay.
never heard anyone call them a freegan.
Yeah,
I've never heard that in my life. No, yeah, we're just that's a fascinating concept.
yeah. I think it's I learned a lot of it through zine culture. Are you familiar with zine
No,
culture?
what is zine culture?
So basically, punks, the DIY culture back in the '90s, which was a continuum from the '80s and '70s. Part of it was making zines, and zines were basically just independently made magazines. They're just like mostly just
Okay.
like little pamphlets,
Yeah.
but they would.
What years was this?
This is, well, let's see, like. I think zines started in the 70s and then but when I was experiencing them this was the early 90s. This was like 95.
Yeah, I was born in 92.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm just
Well, it's just yeah, and what ends up happening with, you know, what the culture that you're raised in is because it started becoming so digital.
all digital.
You know, the tactileness of communication is I'm sure going to experience a resurgence.
In a way, yeah, I'm sure it will. Yeah, it always
Um,
does.
Actually, I think there is even like a resurgence of zines happening right
We
now.
had the
But
resurgence of '80s.
basically, the whole point of a zine was to be like an independent publication of something that you care about. And so you could publish your own monthly poetry, you could publish your own political agendas, and then pass them out and sell them at bookstores or magazine racks, or and you just
That turned into bloggers.
and that did partially turn into bloggers, yeah. And
I want to
and
make
so,
a
like,
zine.
for example, there's this one of this zine of this guy who just like traveled the country and worked as a dishwasher in every state, and like that was the point of his publication.
That
Is he
became like
talked
A and
about
E reality TV shows. It's like the free, just like the dude Guy Fieri show.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, except for like independently
I know, I
published.
get
Yeah,
it, I
yeah,
get
yeah,
it. But we just turned it into a commercialized Guy Fieri show,
yeah,
basically.
exactly.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, Freegan's. Oh, so Gabriel Rucker, uh, he ended up getting a lot of backlash when he first started his restaurant because he'd serve foie gras, and so
it's foie gras is pretty brutal.
the Portland vegan community let him have it for a while about that, and he never backed down from it. So he would never be the one to be like, and yes, the name of the chicken is blah blah blah, and his name was uh, Pecker McPeckerson from from the Derby farm. Like, but he is one of the founders of the food scene as we know it today in Portland. There were a few chefs who like created and fostered the reason why Portland is a food destination back in the early aughts, and he is a part of the like farm to table movement that
Oh, he's
Portland is
incredible.
so
Go to his
known
restaurant.
for.
It's amazing.
And also just like making sure to using fresh local consistently seasonal ingredients in amazingly delicious and not really good for you ways.
It's so incredible. What's going on? What's in the air? What's the when? We're here.
Well, the when is the dark moon. We're in the
Yes.
dark moon.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a beautiful day today. I was not expecting to do what I did today for the dark moon, and that it involved walking up Pilot Butte.
Nice.
And
It's a big hill where we live.
yeah, it's a fantastic mound.
I didn't even know what a butte was
Are
till I moved here.
you're familiar with labyrinths, right?
Yes.
It's one of the realizations I came to
It's a giant
today
labyrinth.
is that it's a giant
Yeah.
labyrinth. Yeah. And also in a lot of different witchcraft and other magical circles, there's this practice that you're taught to when you're entering the spirit realm to move in a circle, in a circular pattern, counterclockwise to enter the spiritual space. And that's the natural way that, or that's the way that they've decided to carve the butte to walk up it.
Yeah.
Is it goes
It's a giant
counterclockwise.
labyrinth that
Yeah.
goes up to a peak that you can see the whole city basically.
And then when you're done with the spiritual moment to exit, you go clockwise. So then when you're coming down,
I did a
you're going
labyrinth. I did a
clockwise.
labyrinth recently, and I decided that I was going to do it in a very slow meditative walk, noting like note lift, note move, note place. It took me 90 minutes to get to the center of the
Lunar
labyrinth.
hour.
Yeah, he's always adding. It's always. You are correct. You are indeed correct. I did not do 2 lunar hours. I didn't walk my way out. So,
So then the other thing I did while I was doing that is I made note of the directions I found, and this is a really good practice to have. Is I found natural ways of knowing when I'm pointing at one of the cardinal directions,
mhm,
and so that was
like in your
cool.
local environment.
In your local environment. Yeah.
Well, we have mountains.
Yes.
The sun sets over the mountains.
Yes.
They're quite large.
Yes, but which mountain and when?
Sure. It
And
changes throughout the year.
yeah, exactly. And but there's a due west
Uh-huh.
point, and so I found like a tree.
Which was it?
And I found a tree. It's actually Broken Top.
Broken Top is
Is
due
due
west.
west, yeah.
Okay.
From Pilot Butte. And then I put out a blanket and I did some mantra, and I
What
didn't
mantra
plan-
did you do?
I did Kali
Okay.
and Durga and
Isha?
the Nirvana
Nirvana mantra?
mantra.
Navarna.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that you sent me.
Calling in all 3 forms of Durga.
Exactly,
Mhm.
which includes Kali.
Mhm.
But I didn't intend to do it in this way. Like I said, I just decided to go on a walk on the Butte. And then as I was doing the Butte walk, I like realized I could be doing these other things while I was doing it.
Yeah, I do singing exercises while I'm walking and stuff like that.
And then when I get up there, when I finished my my veneration to Durga, I realized that it was at the exact perfect moment of the sun and moon and Mercury all on the MC, all on the.
Did you
peak
screenshot it?
Oh yeah,
Okay. We screenshot things.
yeah.
You gotta have record.
Well, I did it. I did it for myself because I realized that I was on a journey when I started. When I realized I was paying attention to the directions
Mhm.
and stuff like that, and then I did a tarot reading for myself while I was up there, and yeah, it was just a really great experience. I did some meditation. I just did some breath work. I did a mala of breaths. I'd never actually done a mala of breaths before, so that was cool.
How long did that take?
What I don't remember.
Hmm.
I wasn't calculating
Sure.
that,
I
but
was just curious.
I was actually trying to remember to look what 4 times 108 is, which is what 424,
432.
432.
Mhm.
Yeah. So if you're doing a consistent pace of 4 seconds per breath,
Mhm.
then it should take you
Per in or per out?
432 seconds.
4 in and 4 out.
2 in, 2 out.
Oh, that's really quick breath. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what my common
Or
breath?
4 in, 4 out.
Do you know what with a metronome? Do you know what my common breath is when I'm practicing?
What?
In for 8, out for 16.
Oh wow, interesting.
That's just where I drop into now. That's my standard. I'll go some moments if I'm moving really fast, I'll go to a 4-8. But in general, I usually drop to an 8-16. And I'll even go further sometimes and push it to like a 12-24 just to extend it and then drop back to an 8-16. Yeah, but if you get there, your central nervous system's so calm. It's like so just relaxed. I do it with a metronome.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't use a metronome on the Butte today, but I was just but I
have one on my
also use a
phone. You just have
metronome.
the app on your phone. You
I
can do it
can't
whenever.
handle the electronic sounding
I
metronome.
have one that has different noises.
I'll
You
have
can
to check
change
that
it so
out.
it sounds like wood, or I use one of those sounds like a drum. Bong, bong, bong.
Yeah.
Very
Well,
annoying for
also
people.
I was also enjoying the beauty of the moment up there
Sure,
on the Butte. So
sure,
I
but
just
I never
didn't-
do. I never do that. I'm just thinking about data whole time. I'm just thinking about data.
Well, that's probably what's keeping you away from the non-dualistic principle.
Yeah, it's just data. Well, that's it. It's the thinking. So it's interesting though. This is what I've been practicing, and I'm realizing. I listened to Open the Hand of Thought, which I'll have to look at the author when I'm editing, and see what their name is. I don't even want to try to pronounce it in Japanese. They talk about this fun little equation that they use for zazen. And so zazen is just bringing yourself back to a position of non-thought, meaning that you're really just focusing on the exact posture that you're in inside of that moment, while trying not to have any mental cognition or anything, not attaching to anything. You're just there. And so you have ZZ is zazen, right? But then what happens is ZZA, and A is a thought. Something goes by, something catches your vision. Or you could have ZZB, and ZZB is a groggy thought, right? Or ZZC, which is a different type of thought. You can't stop ZZA, B, or C. It's impossible. They just occur. There's nothing you can do to stop the thing coming up into your brain. But ZZA prime is where you got to stop it, right? Like you don't want to go to ZZA prime, right? And you definitely don't want to go to ZZA double prime, which is here's a funny example. You see a pretty girl walk past me at the fair. I was practicing this a lot at the fair.
Oh, I saw a pretty
I
girl
did.
walk past you at the
So
fair.
I did. So I was doing this a lot at the fair. And it's something I work on a lot because my relationship with women matters a lot to me. And in this point of my life, I really don't like objectifying women at any point, but your eye will just track places when you're going. So you're at the fair, and if you've never been to the Oregon Country Fair, there are topless women walking around everywhere. It's just part of it. It's totally okay. There's nothing bad. The eye tracks over and notices a woman walking by. That is ZZA. That is like your eye just tracked to the thing. There's nothing wrong with it at all. Your eye just literally looked at the thing that's passing by. ZZA prime is, ooh, she's attractive. right? Or ZZA double prime is then taking that she's attractive and thinking about maybe going and talking with her or starting a stream of conversation or something like that. So it's really fun to start practicing the ZZA, which is just like you allow the thing to come in and to go out of your consciousness without worrying about it. So it's been really, really lovely. Actually getting a hold and accepting the fact that I have been practicing these non-dualist ways, and you can get trapped in the hole of trying to stop thought,
Yeah.
which isn't effective. It's not. You can try really hard, but it's not. I mean, it is to a degree. Like you can kind of clear your thoughts with noting methodologies and stuff like that. And I still do use those. You can definitely get a rein on your thought, but stopping the root of thought is impossible because you're striving. You're doing a thing. You're stopping something, right? Which is not the point. Nothing should be occurring, and the stopping isn't of itself a thing.
Yeah, it's almost like another metaphor for the same construct is like the concept of absolute zero.
Yeah, it's impossible.
Yeah, which if you've never heard the concept of absolute zero before, the basic idea is that it's when everything has stopped. It's the most frozen point possible because and what makes it impossible is that no other matter can be creating any form of inertia or action or
Which
movement.
goes against all the laws that we have that govern our life.
Yeah, I mean from our dualistic perspective, exactly. But when you're using that same concept in the non-dualistic frame, what you're actually talking about is the moment when everything is one.
Yeah. It has to be experienced.
It doesn't have to be experienced. It's already being experienced. We're experiencing it now.
But see, that in and of it's so technically he's correct.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so how was Sunday specifically?
How was the day Sunday? It was good.
Anything come up?
I was saying goodbye to people for the most part. So Fort Fair goes from Friday to Sunday. Saturday, I had quite the adventure, and was out with a friend, and ended up getting home around 3 a.m. and going to bed around 3 a.m. And so Sunday was packing up and getting everything ready to go. I got this shawl.
Tell me about it.
Do you want me to tell you about this shawl?
Yeah.
So Will and I
Ezekiel isn't always wearing a shawl.
I
This
like
is
it now.
different.
It's going to be my shawl. Will and I were at his camp, and we're just packing up, getting ready to leave, hanging out, having conversation, having a smoke. And all of a sudden, there's this man trying to cross the field, and he has this shawl wrapped around him, and he's attempting to ride a very tiny tricycle that has a very big seat, very tall, and he has a big feather hat on and big like sunflower glasses. And he keeps falling over. He falls over like 3 times, and he's really, really struggling. And eventually he gets over near us, and the shawl got wrapped up inside of his chain. And so Will got up and was like, hey, like, let me see if I can help you. And he's like, yeah, do you have a knife? And Will was like, yeah, let me go grab it for you.
This is a common character that you find at country fair too.
He was tripping so hard.
You know,
he was on so much something.
Not that I know who this person is, but this is the fair.
Dude, he was struggling so hard. He was big. He was a big guy. He was real big. And he was real sweaty. He was really struggling. And Will comes out and he goes, you know what? I think I can actually get it out of the chain. Let me try to get it out so I don't have to cut this guy's shawl, you know, because our friend William's really nice. And so he's down low trying to get it out. And he goes, do you think you could take this off? And the guy just immediately goes, yup, and just strips the shawl off. And he's just butt naked. And his penis is right at Will's eye level. Like directly, like right at his nose. Like he could probably smell it from about 8 inches away. And our friend just looks at him and goes, all right, wonderful. And just keeps doing what he's doing. And the guy starts talking about, well, how's your day going? And they just start having this completely normal conversation, or attempting to. And he left the shawl. He said, hey, here's the shawl. I'm going to ride my bike away. He didn't want to walk the bike and put the shawl on. He decided to ride the bike away butt naked. And so he said, here's the shawl. If I don't come back for it, please give it a good home. And we kept it all day. And then I ended up taking it home with me. And I get to have the memory of William just looking square on with that guy.
Being in a very dualistic
just
moment.
So wonderful. He's so funny because he's so slow to speak. You know how he's so quiet for long periods?
Yeah.
And so he's just sitting there, all right.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness gracious.
That's
It was
really
good though.
good.
It was after that I ended up literally going over and
But
seeing.
that was your Sunday? That was on
That was my
Sunday?
Sunday. So Thursday night somebody stole my hat.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I got.
Stole or you gifted it to the probability cause?
Yeah, basically. I mean, I actually didn't even get that upset about it. It was a very nice hat, and I have some very good memories with it. But I realized pretty quickly that it was just an attachment and just a thing, and I wasn't going to allow it to kind of wreck my time. But on Sunday, I felt intuitively to go try to at least stop by all the lost and founds and kind of go through the fair one last time. And I ended up seeing almost all the characters who I had not seen at the fair already. I ended up getting to see and give a hug to, which was really nice. Got to say goodbye to a few friends and then headed out. But I got home pretty late. I stuffed a bunch of marshmallows in my face on the drive home. That was tasty.
Healthy.
I was eating marshmallows and caramelized rice cakes together. I was like making them and just like just eating them in my mouth. Yeah, it's been a
Ezekiel
long
spends a
weekend.
lot of time eating as healthy as
Yeah, I
possible
love
and
marshmallows.
the
I
correct
love marshmallows
diet
so much. My guts
for
and
his
everything
body
else, and
type
then I just
and
get stoned some moments, and then it's all downhill from there. I think it's actually just the driving.
unforgiven.
It's the driving when I'm driving monotonously for hours. One, my back pain. So I've had back surgeries. My back is what it is, and driving is not my favorite thing. I had sciatic so bad at one point that I had to have a cane on my left leg and had some severe numbness in my left leg for many years. I still have some, and my left hip just starts bugging me real bad when I'm driving long distances. And then I end up getting bored and just wanting to snack the whole time.
Mm,
Or if I don't snack, I get tired.
yeah, I experienced this.
Yeah, I
Yes.
get really tired. I just
Yeah,
want
I
to like
use potato
stimulate.
chips.
Yeah, stimulate. So mine was marshmallows and rice cakes. They were good. It was tasty. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Potato chips are a crutch for me, for sure.
I think I like marshmallows more like sex at this point in my life. I think they're like almost better.
They come with a lot less
Like,
attachment.
way less, and they're so tasty. It's about, yeah. Honestly,
But
talk about that another day.
yeah, the reason why I asked about Sunday, I'm glad that that's because
What was happening?
that's the Mercury Cazimi was Sunday, and
What
so
is that word? Kazimi.
Cazimi,
Kazimi.
it means in the heart of the sun, and
Okay.
it happens twice during Mercury's retrograde cycle. It happens while it's going retrograde, which is when it passes in front of the sun, and then when it stops and starts going direct again, it then passes behind the sun, and we call both of those moments Cazimi. And it happens to every planetary body, not just Mercury. And actually, the dark moon is a really good is what I consider to be the archetypal framework for how we think about Cazimi, because it's the same relationship that the sun and moon have, and it does the same thing for the other planets. It's a reset of the relationship between the sun and the planet, and is kind of like this. The process is seen as the planet enters into the beams of the sun, and there's like a degree ratio that we measure this on the chart. It's 8 degrees on either side of the sun, and we say that at that point the planet is being burned away of all of its impurities. And then when it reaches the center is when it's at its most pure and harmonious, like unified point.
Hmm.
And this is what the sun and moon do with each other every month.
So why does my Sunday say? Would my Sunday? What happened on Sunday? What would we look for on Sunday? So I can
Well,
put my lens on it.
I mean, I feel like your story about getting this shawl is your Kazemi moment, because
The naked man on acid.
yeah, well, Mercury, yes, the naked man on acid, yeah, because Mercury in your natal chart. So we're always relating whatever is happening currently to whatever is situated in our natal chart and our seed chart.
Okay.
And so because your Mercury, our Mercuries, also are in the seventh house of Aries, uh, you had a seventh house experience, a one-on-one experience with
Uh-huh.
a person, and also Neptune, which is a planet that we use in association with hallucinogens and some things of that nature, is close to your Mercury in your
Hmm.
chart right now. So, having a one-on-one experience exchange with a person.
I had that more on Saturday though.
That was on Saturday. That event happened on
No,
Saturday.
no, but I had like a really heavy one-on-one, not heavy in a bad way, but like me and one friend ended up taking medicine with each other and just going on like a 9-hour adventure on Saturday. You know what I mean? Like very heavy one-on-one community experience driven for sure. It was like it was almost very interesting. It was like my entire fair, I was off on side quests with one person. Does that make sense? It was like me and you doing stuff. Okay, now me and you. And as soon as I would leave one friend, I would just find the other friend. They would pop up. It was like very
Like you're being handed off.
literally, yeah,
But not
multiple.
in a. He wasn't getting handed off like your turn.
Maybe but me, it was actually me, we were all commenting on it, so a lot of my friends talk about intuition and without any cell phone service. So when you're at fair, there's no cell phone service and you just intuitively know exactly where your friends are. It's kind of hilarious. I had a friend, Eli, who walked into me. He goes, I knew exactly where we were. And we walked up. We were both wearing an eye on our third eye. And we met at the exact spot that we knew the other one would be. I was like, no, but I just knew where you'd be. Just it. And so it's just like rolling through. But it happened to be that way where it's just like one-on-one, one-on-one, one-on-one. It was definitely a very personal thing. And it was lovely, though. Like really deep conversations, really getting in. I got to meet this older gentleman named Paul who spent his entire life. He's a Tai Chi and Qigong master, living in intentional communities and really kind of got an understanding of the experiment that is intentional communities.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Such an experiment.
It's an experiment, man.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
Yeah.
And it's not for everybody, for sure, but very, very fascinating. And he runs the ecstatic dance over in Eugene. And
Oh, cool.
one evening, I got to stay in the fair. So a lot of people, they're so tight, they kick everybody out. They do an arm-to-arm sweep. And on Thursday night, I was hanging out with all the fair staff because they're my buddies, and they just left me. And so I got to spend this magical night on
You got
Thursday.
in.
I got in. It was
You
like
got in.
but you know what I mean? It
Yeah,
was like
no,
a
I know.
fun, like magical little night where I wasn't supposed to be there. And I got to be there with friends. And I'm on the dance floor, and here comes Paul, this older gentleman with his big mustache, and we start dancing. He puts his hands out, and we danced with each other for a while, and it was absolutely lovely. It was a really cool experience to be with a man dancing in that way. I'd never once done it.
Yeah. So contact dancing, is that what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
not like extreme contact dancing,
But
but
still.
hand-to-hand contact dancing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It was very nice.
Yeah. I had a contact dancing experience with multiple men recently. Recently, as in like in the last quarter of the year, and it was a beautiful, like humbling experience to just men don't touch each other.
No, not
And
intimately.
yeah, not intimately, especially not closely.
No.
We'll give the obligatory like I'm sorry you're going through a hard time hug. But a lot of men just don't touch each other. They're very starved
Did
for
I
touch.
tell you my experience that I had with the first contact dancing I did?
No.
I was up at Brighton Bush at a festival.
Oh, I remember. Keep
And
going.
I had this large group of people, and it was actually being facilitated by the same man, Paul. That's where I first met him. And he started us out with doing kind of these different movements. We were kind of moving like animals and having fun and loosening up and talking about
You got to start with silly.
yeah, just silliness going on. And then he asked us all to get in the center and to close our eyes and try to move through the group of people without your eyes open. So
Mhm.
you're just moving through this mass of maybe 30 people. And as I started doing it, I was feeling kind of uncomfortable. And I come from a fighting background, not like I'm a tough guy, but it's just like I'm very tense, like with movement. Like I move away from it, or like, and I move in a certain way, or I try to control it very quickly. And so I came into the environment, and had my eyes closed, and I felt a hand run across my chest, and I just started weeping.
Mhm. Mhm.
I could not control it. I just started weeping, and I went to the side and I sat down. I cried for like 20 minutes. I let myself cry, which I'm really happy about. I didn't try to stifle it. I was in like a safe environment where I could just sit there and cry, and nobody even came and gave me a tissue because I hate that. You know what I mean? They just like let me be. And I realized that I had not had intimate touch in years
Mm.
at all. And the majority of the intimate touch that I had previously was in jujitsu and fighting, which is not really.
It's intimate.
And, I talked about this with my brother recently, but we really didn't have a model for it growing up. It just wasn't something that we saw. And then I realized I'm adapted to a point all in this quick moment, like really quickly. It, like, insights work, all of a sudden it kind of like crashes on you. And I was like, oh my goodness, my daughters ask me for hugs. Like there's this whole spectrum of my life that I haven't looked at yet, and I get to
Hmm.
shine the light on, and I get to go work on. But like intimate touch is one of them. Even in my past relationships, I was not very intimate. My intimacy is always connected to sexuality at this point in my life, and so having those
Those
experiences,
marshmallows.
dude, marshmallows, marshmallows. But that's what I feel like sexuality is now.
Yeah.
Like it's just marshmallows. It's just like I'm realizing that really I don't want sex. I want intimacy. And I know that sounds a little lame, but you get to this stage of your life where you're not interested in purely sexual relationships anymore. It's just it's not a thing. And I know it doesn't really sound lame, but
Yeah, somebody on Threads posted something today, and I really enjoyed it and shared it. That was something along the lines of like, if sex isn't us 100% worshiping each other and to ecstasy and pleasure and to the point where we both have one body, then what are we even doing?
that's pretty aggressive.
But the idea is that, yeah, it's the yeah, anyway, intimacy. And and yeah, as far as examples go, like, there's a lot of conversation about representation in film and images and stuff like that when we're growing up. People of color talk about how um there's not enough representation of them being in different roles and places, especially positions of authority, or just even like their lives and their stories being represented properly and things of that nature.
Mhm.
And cross culturally, male physical intimacy with one another is usually only depicted in homosexual context.
Yeah, almost always.
And so, like, you know or silliness. And we definitely need culture to give young men, children, young men, teenagers, young men, young adults, young male adults, the understanding that we should be touching. We should be touching. Like, we should be able to feel comfortable talking and touching each other without it needing to be some sort of competition
I think
or reward or like an isolated, intimate
I
moment of grief.
I think jujitsu actually was really helpful for me. I know we joked about being fighting on it, but it was a really good pathway for me to learn to have fun with my friends in that type of way. Do you know what I mean? And then a lot of it was maturity as well, just as I grew up and started seeing the physical body in a different way, and you start kind of shedding that. But the fair is also a wonderful place to experience all types of acceptance and behavior on scale. And so, coming out of that environment, being able to have that experience with Paul and being able to be in the dance floor at a static dance on a Thursday night in the dance pavilion, it was so lovely. And it's really exciting, I think, to see how much of the younger generation in these pockets around the country is really grasping onto and holding on to a lot of that wonderful love generation that kind of got started in the 60s and 70s. And it still does exist. And the artists are still out there, and flower power is still happening. It's just in pockets.
Yeah, one of the things I love about the fair is that it reminds you that the overarching cultural narrative about how people live their lives is not the only storyline that's out there.
Nope.
People have found such a diverse way of experiencing life, of living their own life, of making it through day to day. It doesn't have to be you work a job, you pay rent, you die. Like, there's so many different
Fascinating characters.
other ways of like engaging with reality, getting what you need, sustenance, raising families,
Hmm.
like the types of families you can raise. It's such a great like macro dose of diversity um in the way that people can approach living and experiencing life.
I was really saying I love being able to expose my children to full time creatives because when I grew up, being a creative wasn't really a viable career path. Um, we had to be in business or a doctor or a lawyer or something like that. That's all we ever really discussed. And we needed to be creative. We had to take electives or be good at the arts or to study the arts, but it was always more as a part of education rather than being a full time creative.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
broke as a
exactly.
creative is what I was raised as, which isn't completely untrue in moments.
It depends. Yeah. Are you starving? Does the starving artist exist? Yes.
Yes.
Does that mean they're poor? Not necessarily. It just depends on what you qualify as quality of life, and from a cultural narrative that we've been handed to, seeing somebody struggling to pay rent means that they are poor or broke or not enjoying their life, which, because that's what those words are synonyms for, right? In our culture, if you are materially poor, if you have not a lot of money in your bank account, then you are in a negative situation, a negative space. You are in a
You are
lesser,
insecure.
you are yeah, you are in a lesser position. But that person, that artist, that crusty punk, that DJ, that painter, that sculptor, that teacher, um, might actually be enjoying their life a lot, and not
Teacher's a good
necessarily
add-on.
because of not because they're poor, they're lacking funds.
Speaking of teacher, we're over an hour, so let's look at our card.
Yeah. I just want to give a shout out to Wednesday and Friday this week. Uranus makes a sextile to Neptune tomorrow, and then makes a trine to Pluto on
Sexy
Friday.
trine.
And so these are very important, strong aspects that we should be able to see in the news and see in our lives.
What do they represent?
So we have Uranus representing the sudden, insightful moment, the inspiration.
And what is the sextile?
And a sextile is an agreement, a connection that's helpful.
Okay.
And it's a 60-degree angle. And the trine is a very helpful, positive. It's of the nature of Jupiter. It's benefic. It's robust.
I have some conversations I want to be having towards the end of the week. Is this a good moment to be having conversations and making agreements?
I think it's a good.
My buddy's getting married.
That should be fun.
Okay.
Yeah, depending on his chart.
I don't know. We gotta ask that. He'll just say, if you believe in that shit, the whole time you say to him, if you believe in that shit.
Yeah, exactly. I believe in that shit. Do you believe in that shit?
We'll find out.
Yeah, so, once again, I like to come from a place of observational astrology, so I don't want to say too much, but Uranus and Neptune combination can be a inspiring or insightful moment into how you view your connection to the world or connection to the greater self of spirituality.
That'd be cool.
And then the Uranus Pluto connection may bring out some underlying undercurrent depths that may or may not be disruptive or need to be destroyed or let go of. And then Uranus is basically holding these two energies simultaneously and like directing them into our lives in a moment of suddenness. So doesn't mean that it's going to be outside in suddenness. It can just be something that you arrive to, that you've been maybe, one of the things that I like to use as like a caveat for this is like the person who figured out the table for the elements, as far as like the what's that called? The periodic table
of elements, yes.
It came to him in a dream.
Yes.
And so he had been working on it for a long time,
Yes.
and then he came to the organized understanding of it.
Sure.
So it doesn't always have to be something that we're not already like thinking about. Maybe something will just like click in place. Yeah. And so our card for today.
He pulled the same card again. He did. He actually did. So each time that we pulled a card for the show, he pulls a card every day for his day, and he's pulled the exact same card. And he's either a dirty, filthy liar, or it's happened 3 moments in a row.
Yeah. I was speaking of Uranus. I was pretty shocked when I did it for a third time, because I thought, because I posted a video about it on my Instagram, the Esoteric Butcher, how I like to shuffle, and it's a very like involved process.
Hmm.
And so the coming up with repetitive cards is shocking. And so the fact that I've come up with the same card that I
What do you
started
think
my
the
day
odds
with.
are on that?
Oof, man, I am not a
Billions?
statistician, but it's
Millions?
78 cards.
That's a lot really quickly.
Yeah. And then to
Because
shuffle them and
it's
how
double it, so it's 1 out of 56. 1 out of 156. I don't know. We'd have to do it. I'll get clawed on it later.
so the card I I pulled the 9 of cups.
Nine of cups are bounty and filling up. It's something. It's a vessel. It's something that can be filled. And nine is usually receiving. I don't remember.
Well, cups are something to be filled, but they represent the vessels that hold our emotions, and
Okay.
so the cups are always a representation of emotional content.
Okay.
And I like to, whenever I use the word emotion, I like to remind people that the word emotion is a wounded word because we often quickly associate it with things like sadness, depression, grief, or darker styles of emotion, when also joy and happiness and glee should be things that we think about when
You
we
just
use the
reminded
word emotional.
you just reminded me of something from Saturday.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, tell me about it.
I was tripping, and all I could notice was everybody's emotes. Hey, thanks. Hey, thanks. And it was like all these little individual characters just all saying the same little emote button that they were clicking. Yeah, great, great day. Happy fair. Happy fair. It was like everywhere, dude. I couldn't stop saying, hey, happy fair. Happy fair. It was like the same. Sorry, sorry, sorry. It was like all like the same, like,
You were seeing everybody as a sim.
yeah, basically. Yeah. But it's kind of true. You listen, they all say the same thing. So I've been trying to figure this out for a while. People always say I'm sorry when they never hit you or anything. But like if you're walking near them and they move out of the way, they don't say excuse me anymore. They say I'm sorry. You ever notice that? It's like the most common emote that people use. And so then I don't like using common emotes. I like saying back something that's different than like a common term because I just don't. I pay
You got to
attention.
be different.
You know, I just pay attention to what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
I like to pay attention to what I'm saying
Yeah.
rather than just saying a common thing. And so now I've decided that when people say I'm sorry, I'm just going to start saying you're forgiven. You're forgiven. You're forgiven.
Ezekiel forgives you.
See how quickly
Ezekiel
I freak them
forgives
out.
you.
Hey, you're forgiven. You're forgiven. Well, because right now I say there's nothing to be sorry for. They say I'm sorry, and I
That
go, "There's
takes
nothing to be."
way
Yeah,
too
so I think I'm
long.
just going to
Oh
go.
my
You're forgiven.
gosh.
I had a friend who, when he would get asked what type of
Bless you, my child.
yes, that's even weirder. I had a friend who, when they asked him what type of milk he wanted at Starbucks, he would always say breast. And then
You don't have that? You don't have
he
you
would
don't have
just
breast milk?
um emoting, emotional nature, 9 of cups.
9 of cups. And so sadly I haven't taken the time to read this story because this deck, every card has a story, like a cultural folk tale, if you will. And I haven't read this one yet. But the 9 of cups from my last deck kind of stalked me for a while to the point where I couldn't hear its message anymore. I couldn't hear its message anymore. It became it didn't become meaningless to me. I just couldn't. I was numb. I became numb
What does
to
it
it.
mean?
And the 9 of cups is a bad card to feel numb to. Because it's a really blessed card. It's a really it's you are receiving gifts. You are being blessed. You're giving all of these things. In my last deck, uh it was the Wizard of Oz giving. It's because the deck was the Journey of Oz in Wonderland. And so in my last deck, it was the Wizard of Oz giving the heart of courage to the Cowardly Lion, and the bag of brain to the Scarecrow, and the heart and the
You know, I've never actually watched that movie in
oh
full.
really?
Never.
You should watch it.
Should we
We
watch
should
it with
watch
Pink?
it together.
Can we watch it with Pink Floyd hooked up on my system?
No, we should watch it the normal way first.
Why?
So
Fine.
you have context.
Fine.
Um, uh, but and then the Tin Man gets his. So the Cowardly Lion gets liquid courage, the Scarecrow gets brawn for brains, and the Tin Man gets a heart. and and so the kind of the premise of it is you're being rewarded for the effort that you've put in, and the person in the Rider-Waite-Smith original card is this very distinguished looking fellow with a whole bunch of cups that he's ready to give you. And so
Serving all the cups.
so the card is about like being given blessings and like being receptive to being blessed and things of that nature. And so
You are forgiven.
yeah. So and so like I don't know, this card kept coming up to me over and over again. And yeah, and I started becoming numb to its message. And so now like but when I got it today, I finally had it come through because of my day on Sunday. Because my day on Sunday, part of my Mercury Cazimi involved me struggling with technology.
The words are just so ridiculous in moments. I cannot giggle. My Mercury Cazimi.
Yeah, Mercury in the heart of the sun.
Yes, exactly. It's perfected. It's when Mercury comes to perfection in the sun during the dark moon.
It's great. And well, the other thing I wanted to say about it is the other archetypal description that we can use for the Cazimi moment is an eclipse.
Sure.
And so it's this like such an important moment for each planet.
Sure.
And it's
Sunday.
loud. And so for me, Sunday, part of the process was me feeling frustrated and riddled with all these dealing with technical issues. I made a presentation and I felt really confident about it. And then I would go back to look at it and there was a technical side of it. Basically, so if you ever do a Zoom presentation.
Are we really telling people this right now?
And you've never done one before and you're like.
Just don't do it.
You're doing a full screen share. You need to make sure to minimize the viewer window or minimize the window that shows your face talking, or at least make sure you have a place for it on your presentation for it to be, which is the top right corner of the presentation. Because if you minimize it, then it just goes away and that's cool. But if you don't minimize it, it'll be up there permanently in the top right corner of the screen. And in my case, it wasn't just my face, but it was also 3 other blocks below it. And so it covered up a portion of my presentation. And I couldn't muster the energy to try to re-record it. And so I was living in this.
Why don't you just strip the audio and then just put it against, you can press play inside of your presentation and link up the audio to it.
That is something that I thought about, but I haven't revisited troubleshooting it.
Yeah.
I haven't revisited troubleshooting it yet because it hasn't really been that long.
I'm going to cut this part out and put it as a technical video, and we're probably going to get like the most views ever on just that. So on Zoom,
which would be great. But regardless, it was frustrating. It was frustrating for me internally. And what this card reminded me of today was just how blessed I am right now to be doing what I'm doing, to be sharing the way that I'm sharing.
100%.
I'm not, I'm away from so much struggle. I'm away from so many different things that were harder about my life last year, this time, that I am no longer like in the middle of, and that the blessings are here and they've arrived, and I am doing things that I love.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because of the work that I've put in to be able to speak so fluently about astrology, tarot, and all this other stuff.
All types of weird stuff, crusty punk stuff.
That's just life experience.
That's just, Portland experience.
Sorry to all my crusty punk friends.
Sorry to the crusty punk people.
If I got it in any way, shape, or wrong to your own ideal.
Them. Crusty punk people showing up at the house.
But yeah, so for us right now in this moment, I think that sometimes it's easy to look out into the world. Well, not for you because you don't spend a lot of time looking at the news, but for other people,
enjoy it.
For other people out there, I'll focus this way.
They're not looking.
When it's hard to look out in the world and see all of the dark things that are possibly taking place, or when maybe you're being sensationalized at with negative news and things of that nature, it's important to remember the blessing of just the fact that you are alive and that you have breath. Like, that's the first blessing. It's just to be alive. And
Don't watch the news.
I
That's what I do with my
that
breath.
is a choice.
My choice with my breath is to
Not
not
watch
waste
the
it on the
news.
news.
And I will continue watching the news so that I can bring it to you through my own lens. But yeah,
I'll
the Nine
comment
of
on it.
Cups, the Nine of Cups is telling us about being aware of our blessings that we have, living in gratitude, and a reminder to start every day with gratitude. And I always recommend that to people.
Do you do a gratitude list?
Start every day with gratitude, huh?
Do you do a gratitude list?
I have a gratitude prayer that I read every day, and but I don't finish the day with a gratitude list, but I might, because I went to
it's a really good practice.
I went to an online recovery meeting where they did a gratitude. They were just listing their gratitudes each day.
Beep. All right. Do you have anything else for the day?
Nope.
I think we're about
Mind
it.
is clear. I'm non-dualistic at this point.
We'll talk about it more another day. I get you're already enlightened, but that's not there has to be more. I want to write a short story about this. So I'm starting to finally figure out that for some reason it clicked in my brain that I can write a story not about a thing. So I want to personify, or I guess represent, enlightenment as an object or something inside of a story, and then write a fictional story about a man's journey trying to find enlightenment, which is this thing that you can never hold and never experience, and you already technically have. You know what I mean? So I don't know what object I'm going to use as the representation.
Object.
It's got to be something like, you know what I mean, though? I want to turn it into something. I don't know if it'll be an object exactly, but I want to do a short story about something. I don't know. It'll be, I don't know what it should be.
I don't know. The thing
I
that
have a
came to
children's
mind,
book I
though.
What? I do. It's called Amira and the Earth Children. It's really good.
The thing that came to mind, though, was a person looking for a thing, and every time he came across another person, they told him that about what it looked like.
Yeah.
But they all had a different story.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
And so every time he comes to the next person, he's telling them, "Hey, have you seen this monkey
thing, but
with
then they tell them a different
elephant
thing
ear and a tusk of a lion?" And
yeah.
And then they give him yeah, exactly.
And then they add something else onto it, or they give him a different thing. But then
Yeah.
he has it the whole time. So what is the thing? It's nothing? Because technically it's nothing.
I mean, that's what I say. We are nothing.
Well, the whole thing is nothing.
Yeah, we
That's
are
the
nothing.
trick. Well, what is we?
Nothing.
Yeah. You're not really real, Devon.
You're just
Real.
That's where we should end it.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night, everybody. What are we going to title this thing?